Hey guys, people ask me sometimes about working with acrylic and polycarbonate and stuff like that, and I wanted to show you some of the steps that it takes to be able to even make something as simple as a box, which is only 6 sides. Now, straight off the table saw, the blade is going to leave little marks depending on the kind of blade you use. You know, you get different results. I've tried a lot of different blades, and the only blade I can get a decent cut out of so far anyway is this fine-toothed alternate tooth bevel with a non-stick coating on it, and I wax that up before I get going. And you can see the kind of little hairs and the little chips and stuff that eventually get stuck to it. The wax helps even with the non-stick. Once you've got it cut, you've got to be able to glue it together using this sort of cement. Okay, this is a free-flowing, almost water-thin solvent that melts polycarbonate to itself. Use an applicator with a 25 gauge hollow needle in it. Okay, it's not a pointed needle, it's just a applicator needle. This is a polyethylene bottle, and you only need to fill this bottle about this full, because when you start tilting it to apply, you're going to want to use the shoulder of the bottle to control the amount of fluid, and you're going to want to be able to tip up. And if you have too much fluid, you'll have to really tip up, and that could make drops fly across whatever you're working on. These are little things that you'll have to learn by doing. Anyway, I wanted to show you, if you have a table saw and you're doing this kind of work, you're going to need to be able to sand these edges perfectly perpendicular. And the easiest way I know to do that is to stick some sandpaper to your table saw, and using your thumbs to press down, and your fingers to hold it up against the table saw fence, slide it across some 220 grit sandpaper. You want to use good sandpaper. That yellow indicates a special coating on the grit that keeps stuff from sticking to it. So you can use it and use it and use it. You buy cheap sandpaper, you're going to be changing your sandpaper all the time. I like 3M products, but Mirka makes a nice product too. Now I want to show you, get around there, make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. You'll see a little bit of a mark right there. That's still from the table saw blade, but here you got what I call racing stripes. And what you want to do is you want to get the grooves from the sandpaper from one end to the other. It only takes about 4 or 5 passes per edge, and it's better if you just go in one direction, because if you start trying to go back and forth, what you're really doing is pushing more crap underneath what you're sanding, and you're taking a chance of rocking the piece and rounding the edges. And you can see there's just a little mark there, but the rest of it's ready. When the paper loads up, compressed air blows it right off. You just keep going. You can use this paper for a really, really long time before it loses its tooth, as long as you do what I'm doing. If you try to be too aggressive, push too hard, move too fast, you're not going to get the right result. It takes patience, and you got to kind of get a feel for what you're getting out of the work by looking at your work. Every couple passes, look at it. Don't just sit there scrubbing away at it, because this stuff is soft, and it'll change the dimensions of the pieces, so then your box won't be exactly all the same. Now at this point, you see, even though I've gone over it many times, it's just that little tiny divot there. And it's not really a big deal, but I like to see that stripe from end to end. So we'll just do a couple more passes and we should get it. You got to make sure you have even pressure on both sides. Just because you have a area that's giving you trouble a little deeper than all the other areas, don't sand just that area. It'll make the piece out of square. Okay, and that's what you got to do. And I've done this one. See, that one's done. But you can tell right away what the deal is with that. That needs to be sanded. So I'm not going to bore you sanding, but you can see it takes several minutes per edge. A box has 6 sides, 24 edges. 12 of those edges are in contact and have to be glued up, leak-free. So you can imagine how long it takes to make a 3-bay waterfall reservoir that has all these little internal parts. That's 15 more parts with the associated 4 edges per part. I'm talking some 60 parts, 60 edges that have to be dressed just from the ledges inside. There's more stuff inside than outside. So anyway.